Well, guys, we've got a new wrinkle in the Disneyland ticket conversation. That means for both daily tickets and for annual passes. Obviously, we're going to be expecting some major changes to the annual pass program. They've already been canceled, but what they're going to look like in the future is still up for debate. We've already seen the survey that Disney did for the annual pass program. Interesting stuff. New wrinkle today. Disneyland is considering selling partial day tickets. They're calling it dayparting. This would be just like it sounds. They're gonna separate the days into parts. Obviously, you've got potentially an all-day ticket, or one that would expire, let's say, in the early afternoon, and then one that would begin in the early afternoon and go till closing. Or even further, a ticket that starts from noon and goes to closing, a ticket that starts at 3 and goes to closing, or a ticket that starts at like 6 o'clock and goes to closing. And these all are for very specific types of customers. All of us are different. So they're trying to, create as much flexibility for their guests, but it does more than that. Just like with the Flex Pass program, it was a cheaper alternative for Disneyland guests for an annual pass, and the trade-off was that you had to make a reservation. This allows Disney to better plan, better schedule, better understand guest visiting behaviors, how often they come to the park and when. And naturally that works in Disneyland's favor. It helps them to better spread out the crowds and even out attendance. So there's fewer spikes. But this strategy is especially effective right now, or at least when the parks reopen. Naturally, we should be expecting limited capacity. Conventional wisdom says 25%. Splitting the day up allows them to sell up to possibly twice as many tickets. Under normal conditions, obviously, they would sell, 20,000 tickets for a day. If you're going at 25% capacity being 80,000, you're gonna sell 20,000 tickets. That ticket, under normal conditions, would be for the entire day. But imagine if you said you could only go for 8 hours. Imagine if you said you can go from 8 to 4 or from 4 to closing. Now you've sold that ticket, obviously for a cheaper price. It's not gonna be the full price, but still, it's gonna be close to it. You sell them that one ticket, and then you sell another ticket from 4 to closing. You've doubled your capacity. Now, I'm sure that some people are going to say, oh, that's just Disney being greedy. They're trying to double dip. They're trying to create more, sell more tickets. Well, yes, that's true, but that is their prerogative as a business. But it also creates more opportunity for us as a guest, because it is expected, I would imagine, for there to be quite a bit of demand. More demand than 20,000 people can fit. More than 20,000 people a day are going to want to go to Disneyland, is what I'm trying to say. Now you can sell 40,000 tickets instead of 20. That's a better opportunity for you and me to get a crack at going on the day that we want to go. It reminds me of a complaint that I remember reading about it for Walt Disney World, which is still a thing today. They're still working under capacity limits there. And there are annual pass holders who will go for a couple hours and then they go home. And that reservation takes up a full day slot. They're spending an entire day's reservation for just 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever the case may be. Some folks are saying, well, that's a waste. I could have got in, I would have spent 12 hours there. So, this is kind of an answer to that situation. And I'm wondering if maybe Disney heard that complaint and that's where this came from. Not that they haven't done this before. This is not a new thing. We've seen Twilight tickets being sold for conventions when they're doing D23 or something like that. At the Anaheim Convention Center, guests could come in, pay a reduced rate to come in after 4. Walt Disney World did this as well, I believe. When the Galaxy's Edge first opened, they sold a ticket that got you in at noon. It was close to a full price, maybe $20, $30 off. I don't remember exactly, but you got in at noon. And it just relieved all that pressure in the morning, there's going to be considerable amount of pressure in the morning for most days, I would imagine. Tokyo, I think they're doing this daily. They don't even do this for special events. I think Tokyo sells a Twilight ticket for every visitor. And then, of course, even here at Disneyland, we had the hard ticket events, which are different but kind of the same. I'm talking about the After Dark events, Oogie Boogie Bash, stuff like that. They would clear the park out and then let those guests in, starting at 6 p.m. Different, but still close enough to be something that we're comfortable with, which does kind of remind me of one catch to this system. One problem that I kind of envision is, I've been witness to this many times because I've gone to many of these special events, notably the Halloween events. You have to kick people out at a certain time. And that's more easily done for events that are, how do I put it? They're special. The Halloween event is a special event. It's much more obvious that that's what's happening. You go in and you see, you know, the guest who isn't going to the event can tell something else is happening starting at 6 p.m. They're prepared to go home at 6 p.m. It's kind of understood. You do this during a regular day when there's nothing obvious happening, it might be a little bit harder to herd all of these people out of the park. Galaxy's Edge, they did the same thing. There were 4-hour windows at Galaxy's Edge, but if I recall, gosh, I think there was wristbands for that as well. They wouldn't do wristbands for every single day, right? That doesn't make sense. So, and even still, it's easy. It's not, well, I shouldn't say easy. It's one thing to clear Galaxy's Edge and tell everybody to leave Galaxy's Edge. It's another thing entirely to clear Disneyland. So while that'll be a tough one. That'll be a tough one for them to work around. That's why I feel like it may be better to have all tickets expire at the end of the day, but then have them start at different times. Sell a ticket that starts at 8 a.m., sell a ticket that starts at noon, sell a ticket that starts at 4. One catch to that, if I know California guests as well as I think I do, especially when it comes to annual pass, because they did say in this article, this by the way is courtesy of the OC Register, they did say this was going to be for both daily tickets and annual passes. If I know my California annual pass holders as well as I think I do, not very many of us are going to opt for anything less than the full day. But that could just be my own bias talking, because that's the one I would buy. Even if they sold one that started at noon, 4 or whatever, I would buy the all-day pass. But I wouldn't mind buying a pass that gave me the flexibility. Although there would have to be just one single price. Boy, that's a tough one. For annual passes, doing this for annual passes would be a tough one. Boy, I gotta wrap my noodle around that one a little bit. Therefore, it seems most logical, most likely at the beginning that this strategy is just going to be for daily ticket holders, now that I think about it, because it's just so hard. It's so hard to manage annual passes. And I know folks are going to say, well, get rid of annual passes. They're not going to do that. They're not going to get rid of annual passes. We know that they love annual pass holders, so just drop that. But yeah, it feels like this kind of thing can only work for daily tickets. But what about you guys? What do you think? I mean, it sounds mostly good. I have to say that. It sounds mostly good. It sounds, I mean, there are obviously catches, caveats, what have you, but it sounds mostly like a good idea. I love the idea of being able to sell or give more opportunity for us. Because I know that's one of the fears that I have, and I'm sure you must have as well, is that we're going to try to go, but we can't. We can't go because the tickets have sold out, because everything has been, you know, booked up so far in advance or whatever. And it would be nice to have extra opportunity. And that's something that's not going to be able to be possible via the annual pass, which was for us locals, that was our thing, that was our guarantee. That Signature Plus pass was our guarantee that I could go to the park whenever I want. That's a reality that we're going to have to get used to, that we can't do that, at least for the short term. And this is one little safety net against that fear. You know what? Let us know, guys. Hit us up in the comments. I want to poll the audience here. What ticket would be your go-to ticket? Would it be the, you know, like the 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. ticket, the noon to closing ticket, or the 4 to closing ticket, or some combination in between? I wonder how many of us would be willing to just go home at 4 o'clock. I wonder. That's a tough one, man. Like I said, I'm speaking from my own bias, but man, I want to go whenever I want, man. I sure do. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. You can follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked. You can follow us on Twitter at FreshBakedIzzy. That's fresh with no E. And if you like our videos and want to show your support for our channel, you can join our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Links below for all of that. And until next time, guys, we love you very much. We'll see you later, I guess. Be safe, be kind to one another, and fresh baked.